Midrash says that one time Rabbi Akiva noticed that his students were falling asleep, so he decided to wake them up by asking them a strange question. He asked them, why is it that Esther HaMalka was able to rule over 127 Medinot, cities? Students were perplexed why the Rebbe was asking them this question, and they answered that it was all in the merit of the 127 years that Sarah lived on this earth. The question is, what's the connection between Esther and Sarah? There's a story that's told that a man once came to a cemetery in a town that he was visiting, and he looked at one of the gravestones and he noticed that it said, here lies Reb Shimon ben David, he died in old age when he was 2 years old. It seemed like an oxymoron. How could he be at old age if he was only 2 years old? Thought it was strange. So he looked at some of the other matzevot. They all said pretty much the same thing. 2 years, 5 years. The oldest one was the Rav, who lived 10 years. 10-year-old Rav. He wondered what was going on over here. So he accosted one of the citizens, who explained to him that they wrote their gravestones based on the Gemara that says, Rishayim b'chayayim kurim meitim, tzadikim imitatam kurim chayim. That evil people, even in their lives, are called dead, and tzadikim, even in their deaths, are called alive. It says, in this town, we measure lives only by the amount of time spent on meaningful things, on Torah, on Tefillah, on mitzvot. They calculate all the time that that person spent on those things, and that's what they write on the tombstone. The Chidush Arim, he explained to his students that Sarah Imenu didn't just live 127 years. She used every hour of every day, of every week, and every month to the fullest. And so he said, imagine, every hour is a little town, every day is a city, and that's why every year was a country. This past year, I was working in my company, and we had a convention where we were spoken to by some of the higher executives at the company Alibaba, which is a famous Chinese company. Alibaba customers in 2019, on November 11th, which is a special day, it's kind of like the Amazon Prime Day, it's called Singles Day, it's 11/11. They have special sales. Customers on the website spent $38 billion in one day. That's $26 million every second. Now, as an IT professional, the way that I see this is, if they were down for 4 seconds, that's over $100 million. That's how we measure money in the economy. The question is, why don't we treat our own lives with that same precision and meticulousness? Who's measuring their life in this way? The Torah also says that Avram Avinu, when he became old, he was Baba Yamim. Zakenu Baba Yamim. What does this phrase mean? Some have explained that there's a difference between days and years. The amount of years that we live on this earth, that's not under our control. We live however many years we live. But when the Torah says that Avram was Baba Yamim, that means he came with his days in hand. The days that he can claim, I used these days to their fullest. Everything that I was meant to do, I did it. He can come and he can say firmly and confidently, he mastered and fully actualized all the days of his life. This is a tremendous accomplishment. I'm still processing the news about the death of the former chief rabbi, Lord Jonathan Sacks. This is really an enormous loss to the world, and especially to our predominantly Anglo and specifically many British community. But one thing can be said for sure. In his 72 years or so on this planet, during which he authored 25 books, as well as overseeing translations and commentaries on our most sacred liturgical texts, the Sidurim, the Machzorim, one thing is for sure, he managed to squeeze every ounce of meaning out of his own life, and with tremendous chesed, shared it with all of us. Yehi Zichro Baruch.